Ladies and gentlemen, this is a PSA for any Zergs who die horribly to Ling all-ins. I had a beautiful Zergling all-in from my opponent that I only just scouted as the Ling's running across the map, and I will show you how to respond to this. Now, it might be kind of scary because you've got a whole bunch of units running at you, but I will guide you through this procedure. I'm going for a righteous macro build called Hatch Gas Pool. You may have heard of it before. It's 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. Any righteous, upstanding macro citizen is going to know this build by heart if they're a Zerg player. Some cheesing players might take a different path, and that's valid, but it's not the solid macro way. And one thing about solid macro is you're going to still need some adjustments if they go for a super aggressive build. In this case, we see a whole bunch of Lings rushing at us, and I don't have Ling speed or a Bane Nest, so what do? What do we do to defend this? Our opponent has 14 drones, and I'm just sending an Overlord to scout. I'm going to talk you through the information that I get. I'm doing my build. The drones are rallied into the gas. I'm just checking my Overlords. This Overlord's about to arrive. I'm going to go for a 20 Overlord. Putting another Overlord mid-map there. That's the 20 Overlords route. And I did see a base. So this looks pretty normal. They did take a base. I can rule out 12 pool. I can rule out 13 gas 12 pool. I can rule out 14. I can rule out 16 pool. I can rule out 17 gas, 17 pool, 17 hatch, like a build like that. So they're going to use this hatch for something, but I'm not sure what. So I'm just going to continue with my build. I'm making 2 queens. I'm making more drones here because I wanted to go for a roach build. So I'm saving the 4 larvae of Lings. I see 2 Lings headed my way. Still not a huge deal. Like some Zergs do that. They send Lings to scout. That's valid. I'm going to get a 30 Overlord here next. Okay. Just cycling through the bases. Keeping the camera management tight. Lings are harassing here. This is a bit of a problem, but not the worst. Microing back below drone. And the queens can inject. Taking a lair and a 3rd queen in my natural. My queens are shooting this Overlord, and it's like, wow, that's a nice plump Overlord, you might say. Maybe we could focus it down, but then look at the mini-map. Oh my gosh. A heap of Lings. It was bait. This Overlord was put forward to try to get the queens out of position, and we have just entered a holy shit situation. I have 25 drones against 16. So that's a 9 worker lead. That's pretty big. My opponent is going to be sending Lings at me for a while now. And they only have, I'll show you what they have, 1 base mineral. 1 queen here, 1 queen here. So they have 1 queen at each base, and they're just sending Lings. So what do we do? Crisis management. I have 0 Lings. Triple Evo wall. And you might say, well, why not make a Roach Warren? Well, a Roach Warren costs twice as many minerals, and it's also a building that I would like to keep alive if I build one. Evo chambers are the cheapest mineral cost per health that you get, so this is really a shield that I'm making for myself. Lings can kill these, but the queens are going to be able to just DPS them the whole time that they're working on it. So you get to see this attack arrive, and how I adjust to it based on where the damage is received. So the Lings are just A-moving here now. They're attacking the Evos evenly. I'm just letting my queens attack. And now I'm making a 2nd level of wall. Next queen is out. They're trying to get in there, but they can't. They're trying to get in there. But that finishes. And I've just got queens of DPS on this. And then I put these 2 queens here, and I made sure to press hold position. So hold position is a really strong ability, and it prevents units from chasing other units out. So if these Lings now run back here, if I had the queens attack moving, the queens would try to run out and chase them. But since I use hold position, these queens will not move from this spot, and only about 2 Lings can attack either of these queens. So their DPS is going to be pretty crappy, just because of how congested this area is. If you think about it, it's a little bit like 300, where it's like all the Persian army descends upon them, but they're defending a narrow choke. So this is the narrow choke that I'm creating. I'm letting my queens just sit here. The broodlings actually help with some damage. And these queens don't move. And now I go back to my build. And if I check the units lost tab after this, that was an efficient defense. The opponent lost more minerals in lings than I lost in evo chambers. Yeah, it's true I have an extra evo chamber that I'm not going to be able to use, but I just put my roach warren here to make this a complete wall, and then I can just kill an evo chamber to get out later on. My opponent's base situation right now, they are starting to drone this base, but they haven't started mining gas yet, so I have a massive tech lead. My lair is done. I can get upgrades and stuff if I want to. I have about enough for 1-1 upgrades, and I can take the pocket third base. So overall, I'm pretty ahead in a lot of different ways. I also have a 1 queen advantage over my opponent, which means I can get more creep spread if I want to. I can also transfuse these. But this is basically how the defense works. You set up the initial 3 evo wall, and then you make a second layer of wall behind it, assuming that the first evos are going to be killed. And then you just saturate your bases once you're stable, get your roach warren going. You could even go mutas behind this if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter whether you go roach or muta. The idea is if they invested a lot to attack your wall and they didn't break through, they're going to be really far behind in tech. So I basically just push over my opponent with better upgraded roaches. I get +2 missile attacks, +2 armor, why not? And then I push through with Queen Roach Hydra. And Roach Muta can't beat that. And that's game. So you must construct the evo chambers to defend against the mass Zergling. This has been a crisis management lesson for Zergs who are dying horribly to speedling all-ins. It's in Sun Tzu as well.
Thank you for subscribing.